Service dog, breed, age, and size. We're going to start with breed. Breed can be so controversial. There's the Fab Four, which aren't four, it's really only three, and that's Golden Retriever, Labrador Retriever, and Standard Poodle. Now, in my experience and my opinion, Golden Retrievers are the best for service dogs. There's a reason why Hope Service Dog, we breed Golden Retrievers. It's because they're the best, right? However, as much as I love Golden Retrievers and know how wonderful they do for service dogs, I know that they're not the breed for everybody. And there's a reason that Hope Service Dogs has done 2 standard poodle litters, is because for some people, that's going to be their best dog. Some people might need a smaller dog. Some people might need a larger dog. However, Goldens range from 60 to about 85 pounds in, standard and breed standard. So that works for most disabilities. I'm sure you've heard of the, how tall are you, how much do you weigh, shows how big your service dog should be. I don't put a whole bunch of faith into that because you shouldn't be using your dog for heavy mobility anyway. That's what mobility aids are for, and use your service dog for things that a mobility aid cannot do for you. But breed, age, and size. So size, we're talking about breed there as well, right? They're combined, and we've worked with some amazing dogs of different breeds. But I think a lot of people want to bypass the Golden because they're cute and people are going to come up to you and it's going to be a way to open up conversation. And some people don't want that. They want to get their work done, their day done with as little interference as possible. So they want that, standoffish dog card, right? So they don't want the Golden who everyone wants to come up. They'd rather have, for example, like a black lab, and black dog has that black dog stigma that, they don't photograph well and people don't come up to them as much because they can look a little scarier. Age, I like to start them as young as possible. At Hope Service Dogs, we start our newborn puppies at 3 days old with training. I like to start them at 8 weeks old. I don't like to start them much past a year old, because that's not been their life. That's not been their experience. And here we are now saying, here is what you're going to be doing from this point forward. And the dog's like, that's not what we've ever had. So you have a dog who you've let, run wild a bit and not prepped for a life of, this is what you're going to be doing. This is your life. Having said that, we've also had phone calls. One person I remember had an 8-year-old Golden Retriever who had done no training, and she wanted the dog to be a service dog for her and her husband. And that's just a no on so many different levels. If you have a dog who's maybe a little older than a year, and you've done a lot of training with your dog, even a 2-year-old dog, and you've done a lot of training with them and you need to polish up some stuff, that's a different story. I will tell you it's going to take you about 2 years to fully train up your dog. And that's mental, physical, emotional maturity to be a full-time service dog. So that's going to put your dog at around 2 or so years old. So some people would say, well, I'm just going to go to the shelter. I'm going to get me a 2-year-old dog. And then boom, the dog can be a service dog right away. And that's not how it goes either. They need that 2 years of training.